Welcome everyone to Optional Dialogue, episode 89. Once again, I'm your host Sebastian, and I'm joined by Mitch and Dory. Before we start,
Hello.
please hit the like button. We would really appreciate that, and we post our podcast on YouTube and Spotify. So today we're gonna talk about the Game Awards nominees. There's a lot of categories. There was a lot of conversation when it got revealed on Monday. Like, people went crazy. There was a lot of controversy.
Do you want to know the funny thing? I had no idea there was a I mean, of course there's a controversy on Twitter, but I had no idea about the controversy on Twitter until I watched some random TikTok that mentioned the community support thing.
Yeah.
Which is fair in that case,
Yeah,
but like
that one's fair.
And then I found out that it just kind of bled through to everything else, and I'm just like, I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm just apathetic. I'm kind of just apathetic to any gaming controversy that happens at the moment, because like I'd say a solid 70% of the time it's just overblown, nonsense.
Overall, I thought the controversy was understandable. Like, some of the opinions I understood. Like, I understand why people were upset about Resident Evil 4 Remake getting nominated for Game of the Year and things like that, which we'll talk about. I understand that, but I know people were saying like Xbox tax and like there's bias towards Xbox because Starfield didn't get it.
That stuff's nonsense.
But we'll talk about all of that. So let's start with I'm gonna go in order from bottom to top. So I want to finish with Game of the Year as the last category. So I'm gonna start right with most anticipated games, which is the right at the bottom. And most anticipated games were Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. Now, right off the bat, Tekken 8 I'm excited for it, but it's not anything like I'm dying to play. I think like one of these games.
I feel like we can basically just like, especially like with the way you outlined it, it's basically from most likely to win to least likely to win. I think is the best way I could put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Star Wars Outlaws or Tekken 8 having nowhere near a chance to win. Like, Tekken 8 looks great, but it's a fighting game. It's niche. Star Wars Outlaws, it's Ubisoft. I really don't know many people who are like deeply anticipated for it, like they would be for like, you know, like a Sony first party title or a Bethesda title, something like that. It's just the top three that, you know, can go either way, but I think everyone knows who is most likely to win. But like I'd say for a lot of these categories, it's like there's an obvious choice, but then there's also like one or two that like I'd like to see win, just for like, you know, the surprise and the shock of it all.
How we're gonna do it? We're gonna do it like last year, where you're gonna say what you want to win and what you think's gonna win. So Dory, what do you want to win and what do you think's gonna win?
I would love it if Hades 2 got the nod here. It's no surprise to anyone who's listened to the podcast for a while that I'm a Hades diehard. This isn't to say that it's not close for me between Rebirth. This is definitely a category where I would be totally fine if Rebirth won. It probably should win. It's a remake to one of the most heralded games of all time, and is probably going to include a certain scene that's one of the most infamous of all time. Unless, you know, it doesn't. So yeah, I want Hades 2 to win. I think Rebirth is probably going to take it, and that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Mitch, what about you?
Look, honestly, I don't have that much of a connection to any of these games. Other than, I mean, like I've played Final Fantasy VII Remake, I've played Hades, I've played Like a Dragon. I personally, though, if I had to choose one I'm most anticipated for, I'd say it'd be Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Just because it's like, you know, it's probably the series and sort of set of games and characters that I have the most connection to personally. But I fully expect Final Fantasy VII to get the win, and I mean, like, fully deserved. I didn't love 7 Remake, but I'd say like a lot of the reasons why are like personal, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I can totally understand why people love that game so much. It's just not, at the end of the day, not for me, unfortunately, but it's certainly deserving of any wins it gets.
Right. I'm excited for all these games. I'm definitely gonna buy all these games next year, assuming Star Wars Outlaws comes out next year.
Yeah, right.
Because what's the general like outlook seem to be on Star Wars Outlaws, anyways? Because like I remember it getting like a bit of a, you know, like a.
It got like a game trailer. Yeah,
and it got a gameplay trailer, and but like yeah, I don't remember us. I don't think we've seen anything since like June about the game, and like I don't remember people being like completely blown away by it. But I might have missed it completely.
I mean, people are excited about it.
I think people were whelmed. They were like, "This looks cool, but I need to see a lot more."
Oh, I don't know. My timeline was pretty excited about it because it was like Uncharted in space.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's right. I don't know. It's been a few months now.
Wait, no, this isn't Amy Hennig's game, isn't it? That because that was cancelled. This Amy Hennig's working on like some Marvel game or something now, isn't she? So this isn't even. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. It is set to be released next year though, so that's what it said in the trailer.
I mean, I feel Ubisoft are generally pretty good at like, you know, sticking to their release dates. Like they rarely delay their games large amounts. Unless I'm just completely blanking on like multiple examples, but yeah, I like with the state it seemed to be in as of June. Like I have faith it'll be released. I'm guessing October, November next year. I don't think we'll get it.
Yeah,
Q1,
I can see that.
Q2.
But to get back to the category, I think Final Fantasy VII is my most anticipated, and I think it's gonna win. It's an early favorite for game of the year for me. I mean, looking at what games are coming out next year, it has a serious chance. Probably, I'd imagine it's gonna be better than the first game, which I thought was great. So,
yeah.
Imagine if they dropped Rebirth this year as well, like with everything else that's come out.
I think I would die.
That'd be a mistake. I think anyway.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. But like, just imagine.
I'm so
having to choose game of the year between all that stuff.
I'm so happy to see my backlog. Like I'm still playing 2023 games. Like I'm in the middle of Dead Space Remake and Super Mario RPG, and I'm just trying to swim above water. Like please, stop.
I just finished. You know, I finished Alan Wake a couple weeks ago, and then still getting through Mario Wonder, and now Mario RPG comes out.
Which I also have to play.
And I bought Mario RPG, so I'm gonna be playing that, and it's just like one thing after another.
Stop making so many games.
Although I could see Hades 2 being objectively better, like I could see getting better reviews and getting like more Game of the Year nominations and things like that because the first game was so beloved and it was my second Game of the Year. Go ahead.
2 is because the only thing that's been really confirmed is a Q2 early access release date, not a full game release date. And
that's true.
I don't remember because I wasn't on the Hades train at the time. But I believe the original Hades was in early access for quite a while before it was fully released. So we may not even see a
good
full
year or two. Yeah.
So which is fine. I'm fine with that. That's what they want to do, and you can't argue it hasn't been successful.
No.
But yeah, that definitely affects it too. I don't blame Rebirth for getting the nod at all.
Right.
It's one of my most hyped games.
So let's move on to the next category, which is best adaptation. Best adaptation was Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Twisted Metal. For me, I think Last of Us is gonna win just because it had it was such a cultural phenomenon. Like obviously we had a lot of problems with it, but we still liked it. I think we really liked it.
Gran Turismo based on a true story because the subtitle's not there, so it could be a totally different movie. We don't know.
we really liked. I mean, we liked Last of Us. We had problems with it, but overall, I think we all said it was good. And but like outside the Last of Us hardcore fans like us, like they really loved it. Like it was a huge hit. It was the fans that had more problems with it. So I think it's gonna win.
The Last of Us, but
Oh, I was gonna say the only other thing on this list that may have a chance in winning is Super Mario Brothers movie. Yeah. And if that doesn't say everything you need to know, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, I mean the Castlevania anime is supposed to be good, but I'd never seen it. Low key, I just want to reaffirm, Twisted Metal is actually kind of great, and I had the lowest of the low expectations for that movie or TV series. It wanted it to suck, so I would love it. I would love it just for the chaos. If Twisted Metal beat Last of Us, I would laugh. But no, this is the Last of Us category. Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal and everybody behind it definitely deserve it. I loved that. I was the hottest of it on it out of all of us. But
yeah,
I think this is the Last of Us to win.
Yep, and I'd pick it as well.
Yeah,
me personally.
Yeah,
those are all good. Those are all good choices. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to best multiplayer, which was Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Now, I was kind of iffy about this category. I was like, I don't know, some of the choices I don't understand. But then again, I'm not a big multiplayer person, so I didn't know I don't even know what I would pick anyway, because multiplayer has been really lacking this year.
Yes. So, Baldur's Gate 3 has multiplayer?
Yeah.
It has co-op.
Co-op, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you can have, I believe, I don't know, I never played co-op, I played solo, but I believe also you can have some PvP stuff, but I'm not positive about that. But and obviously that would be through the co-op. So co-op is all it has.
Yeah.
I think through co-op you can do PvP if you want, but I don't know for a fact.
Yeah. But it's not like you launch up the main menu of Baldur's Gate 3.
No, it's not like where we
play multiplayer option where you're in a team deathmatch. Nothing like that. Okay.
This is a bit of a puzzling choice to put Baldur's Gate here.
Yes. Overall, I'd vote Street Fighter 6 because that game was incredible. It's kind of weird. I guess weird picking a fighting game for best multiplayer, but I guess technically that counts. But it's just that out of these choices, I guess I would assume maybe Diablo 4 gets it. Because it's really popular. I mean, it was. I don't know if it still is, but
kind of the fan base is.
It lost me completely.
Not happy with it right now.
I was very unhappy with it. Like I was. It was my top 10 game of the year, and it fell out.
I don't have the game. I don't follow the game, so like I don't know, what the general consensus on it is. But I do know that. Yeah, like I think season 1 or whatever, like they made a bunch of changes that nerfed things that people hated, and then I'm not sure how they've changed that going forwards into season 2, but
the season changed because pissed people off, but
but we
don't have time to get into all that. So what would you guys pick out of this, or you don't really have? You can pass if you don't have anything to pick.
Look, I haven't played any of these games, so like I don't have any personal input. What I think will win is most likely Diablo 4, if not for the later controversies, just the fact that it had such a big cultural media presence back when it launched.
Yeah.
Party Animals and Super Mario Wonder I kind of class in that same category of they're fun, but they're not necessarily groundbreaking. Similar to Street Fighter 6, I'd say. So I'd just say it's Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is probably the safest bet to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dory?
I'm gonna go for comedy again. I think it'd be very funny if Baldur's Gate 3 won this, because God knows it needs more awards this season after the Golden Joystick Awards. But in my heart of hearts, probably Diablo, even though I don't like Blizzard and I don't want them to succeed in any way. At least for now. Hopefully, now that certain things have happened, things improve, but we'll see. But for right now, still wishing for their imminent downfall. Not really. Because I don't want people to be unemployed. Hot take. But anyway, it's probably Diablo. I would like to see Baldur's Gate just for the chaos.
Right. So let's move on to best family game. This is usually the Nintendo category. I wanted to shout some of these games out because this is the only place they put them. The Disney Illusion Island, which I actually wanted to play still. I haven't played that yet. I like the way it looked. Yeah. That's that co-op platformer.
I had no idea. I've never heard of this. Hold on.
I've heard of it.
So Party Animals.
I never played it, but yeah.
So it's Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Now I'm glad that Pikmin got nominated. It's probably it's the only place it got nominated, and it makes sense. But I think Super Mario Brothers Wonder has this on lock. Okay, it's a multiplayer like family game. You play with your friends and family. It's the best game out of this list. It's one of the best games of the year. So I would pick it to win, and I think it's gonna win.
Yeah. I want to mention here, since it seems like a good spot, there's going to be a couple categories that we're leaving out, things like accessibility and games for change and stuff like that, or I might be misrepresenting the category, what it's called, games for impact. But that's not because we don't care about those categories. It's just because we haven't played those games, and we have really nothing, or we have like only played one or two and don't have much to say. This is the same for me on this one. I haven't played any of these games. I have really nothing to say about this category. I agree with Seb. If I had to pick, gun to my head, I would pick Mario Wonder, and then I would Mario Wonder what the hell you're doing with a gun to my head. But anyway, so Wonder is probably
that's what I heard too. I heard Gundam.
Okay, thank you. I'm not crazy.
No, I said Wonder.
So let's move on to best fighting game, which was God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. I mean, I think overall it's probably gonna be a battle between Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and I think pretty much everybody would pick Street Fighter. I mean, Street Fighter got like a 90 something on Metacritic. It's objectively, I think it's objectively a better game. It had more content. Mortal Kombat's still lacking a lot of content.
And it did not have a terrible Switch release. Hint, hint. So.
Yep. Was it even on Switch?
To be honest, I
don't think it was on
Switch.
I
don't know. It wasn't. But either way, it didn't have a terrible Switch release.
That's true. I won't even. Yeah, it's true.
But no, this is Street Fighter 6's category.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I don't even... I don't even know. No.
What the fuck is God of Rock?
I have no idea. I never heard of these games. And I follow fighting games generally, but I just never heard. I mean, maybe it's huge, and I just missed it. But
yeah, I've never heard of it before, and I've been following games pretty closely this year, so I don't know where the hell that came from.
Yeah, but overall, Street Fighter 6, arguably not just one of the best games ever. You can make a case it's the best fighting game ever. I mean, it probably isn't, but you can make a case. Like it's
could definitely make a case.
It's that good of a game.
Revolutionized.
Yeah.
Fighting and gaming.
Yeah, 6 had so much it tried new things, very fluid. It's just only thing for me is like I've never been a big Street Fighter person with the combos. I always more of a Tekken person. Street Fighter just has too many complicated combos for me. All right, best RPG. Now, this is when I started getting a little upset. In the controversy, I started agreeing with the controversy. Best RPG is Baldur's Gate 3. Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and Starfield. Now, I don't know how you don't put Octopath Traveler 2 on this list. I mean, it is one of the best RPGs of the year. I mean, I know Lies of P has RPG elements in it, but like, why you can't put Lies of P over Octopath Traveler 2?
Lies of P and Starfield are both weird choices to me. I know
Starfield I get. It's a Western RPG, but
I get it.
What about Final Fantasy 16? I thought like most people generally agree that was like more of an action adventure with like light RPG elements rather than like a full blown RPG like most of the other games are.
Yeah,
if anything, like I haven't played it yet, but like that's if anything as an outsider, that's the thing that's most confusing to me. Final Fantasy 16.
16. Oh, okay.
I would still call it action RPG.
16 is an RPG for sure, but Starfield and Lies of P are the ones I'm
really
confused by.
I mean, Starfield's definitely an RPG. I mean, you role play, right? You role play as you make decisions and stats.
I guess so. It doesn't feel like an RPG to me, but maybe it's just because of like I think it's just because like it's not like the classic RPG like background, like Baldur's Gate has that classic kind of feel to it. So does Final Fantasy, so does Lies of P, so does Sea of Stars. Starfield's like kind of futuristic RPG, so it feels kind of weird. But yeah, you're probably right.
It just makes sense to put Liza P there. How do you not give Octopath Traveler 2 any love? I mean, it was in the 80s in Metacritic, and a lot of people like it. And I don't. I
haven't played it, but I agree that sounds baffling to me.
We
already got a nod in the action adventure anyway, so.
And Sea of Stars deserves a nomination for sure.
Yes, Sea of Stars is excellent. Go play it, everybody.
I was gonna say I haven't played. Oh yeah, no, jeez, I haven't played any of these games.
What?
I haven't played any of them yet. Final Fantasy 16. I've heard that it's generally like more accepted to be like an action RPG, but like it was widely reported at least that like the RPG mechanics from previous games had been dialed back by not a large amount, but like a pretty big amount to focus more on the gameplay and simple action side of things. So like if I had to choose to sub any of them out, I'd say that. Like if anything, I'd say that the main reason 16 is there over like Octopath Traveler or anything else is just the fact that it has I was gonna say the big brand recognition and like everyone kind of attaches Final Fantasy with RPG because like of course it started out that way,
right?
But
I would get rid of personally. I would get rid of Liza P, not because it's a bad game, but just it doesn't feel like it belongs there, and I would replace that with Octopath.
That's exactly what I would do. But what I think's gonna win is gonna be Baldur's Gate 3, and what I want to win is Baldur's Gate 3.
100.
I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is the role playing in that game is probably the best ever.
Yes,
like ever. Like you can literally do anything you want in that game.
Yeah,
like literally, you play the character any way you want, and everybody has a different playthrough.
I spent almost 150 hours just on one playthrough.
I beat that game 2 times, and I had 2 completely different playthroughs.
Yeah. So, so I mean, I think we can all agree, but Baldur's Gate is going to win this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so part of me is torn because I love rooting for the underdog, and I would love to see a Sea of Stars win here. I know it's not going to happen, but I just want to shout out Sea of Stars again because it's such a great game. And the art direction is beautiful, the music is beautiful, the story is beautiful, like the gameplay is really good. Like partially responsible for me finally figuring out, I like turn-based RPGs. My 9-year-old self has been lying to me for like 20 plus years. So I really love. I have a real big soft spot for Sea of Stars. I think it's super underrated. It's not going to win here, but this is Baldur's Gate's category to win.
Yep. You agree, Mitch?
100%. I haven't even played it, but like you just kind of know before anything's even said. Like Baldur's Gate 3 has it in the bag.
All right, so let's move on to best action adventure. This one's got me. I'm still kind of iffy about it, not because the choices, because I don't know what to pick. Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now,
what a fucking category.
The key word here is action adventure, right? So it's not just action. The action has its own category. So a lot of people were like saying Spider-Man because it has the best action. I'm like, well, it's also adventure. So this is where I'm leaning on Tears of the Kingdom because it has the best adventure out of these games.
Oh, 100%.
Like when I say adventure.
100%.
Best action, though, is probably Spider-Man.
Yeah. So
it's like that's why I'm on the fence. It's like it's action and adventure.
Having a look at like what the category, the description says, it says for the best action/adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
That's Tears of the Kingdom.
Realistically, like big one out of like if it's between any of these two, I'd say it's between Jedi Survivor and Tears of the Kingdom, and I think everyone would say that Tears of the Kingdom is the surefire choice.
Right.
Yeah. Like I don't know what else it could be.
I mean, you all know me, massive hater for where Legend of Zelda is right now, unfortunately. But it's a heavy burden and someone has to carry it. But anyway, in all seriousness, whatever. I would love if Spider-Man 2 won this one, but realistically, 7 Mitch are right. This is probably Tears of the Kingdom. Probably. Yeah. I could see an upset. I could see Marvel winning, or maybe Star Wars Jedi. Just to get that sweet Disney money that we know Jeff Keighley obviously gets. That's a joke. It's a joke, by the way. Comment section. But anyway, yeah, that it's probably Tears.
I think Jedi Survivor doesn't get anything just because because it had such a bad performance issues.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
100%,
absolutely.
So I think it deserves to get nominated for sure, but not. I don't think it has any chance of winning this category. But,
I agree.
But I think Tears of the Kingdom is gonna win that one. Alright, so let's move on to Best Action Game, which is Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. These are all really good games.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure what's gonna win, but I'll let you guys start first.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'll go first. Look, again, only game I've played this year is Dead Island 2. So if I had to choose one that I'd choose to win, it'd go to that. And not without good reason either. Like it had no right being as good as it was.
Yeah.
Realistically though, I don't want to say Armored Core 6 just because I still feel like ultimately that was a very niche game, even by modern From Software standards. But honestly, I see it going to Remnant 2, which I wouldn't have figured to put in the action game category, but like I guess it fits. So I feel like it'll go to Remnant 2 because like I know that game got quite a lot of like really high review scores.
Yeah. And Remnant 1 already got solid reviews, decent reviews anyway.
Yeah, so exactly. I will quickly add though that like I'd love it if Hi-Fi Rush did win, but I do not think it will. I'd be surprised if it did.
Yeah. Dory, what do you think?
This is a tough one for me in terms of what I think will win. In terms of what I want, there's no question. Hi-Fi Rush. It's the only game of this list I've played. It's the only game I would play. I tried Ghost Runner. I played a good few hours of it before I got frustrated. Dead Island 2 I never played. Armored Core isn't my kind of game. Remnant 2 isn't my kind of game. So to my personal taste, Hi-Fi Rush has this, and I would love if Hi-Fi Rush got it. Just to be nominated is awesome. That game rules. What do I think is winning? I don't really know. I agree with Mitch that Armored Core is a bit niche, but it also kind of feels like a small fish in a small pond. I almost said in a big pond. In a small pond, but like it feels like a medium fish in a small pond. You know what I mean? Like even though it's kind of niche, I feel like Dead Island, Ghost Runner, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is a brand new franchise, if a franchise at all. So I feel just like by comparison, this feels like Armored Core, but I don't know.
I want Hi-Fi Rush to win. I haven't played Remnant 2 yet. I heard a lot of great things about it. People recommend it to me. Yeah. I don't have time for it right now. Ghost Runner was never for me. Dead Island 2 was great. I beat that. I wouldn't pick that game as best action game though. So I think Hi-Fi Rush is the game I would want to win. But what I think is gonna win is gonna be Armored Core. I mean, Armored Core has a really strong audience that people really love it. It's a From Software game. It has that From Software like fan base. People really were digging it. It's really hard. I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna win. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I think it's pretty safe that it's gonna win. But I would like to see Hi-Fi Rush win though. That'd be nice. All right, let's move on to. Let's see. We're not going to do best VR, best mobile game. We're not going to do that. So let's do best debut indie game. So best debut indie game are Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder, which are a lot of good games here. Personally, for me, I've only played Venba. I played a little Cocoon, and I know a lot about Dredge.
Really?
I know a lot about Dredge. I got the platinum in Venba.
Review for it. Yeah.
Yeah, Dredge is, and people really liked Pizza Tower, like really like it. So I'm not really the indie person for this year because like I played a lot of indie games last year, but this year I feel like I played mostly AAA games or AA games. I didn't feel like I played a lot of indies this year. So I'm probably not the person for this. So just out of what I've heard and what I've seen from people, I would pick Dredge to win, and I would probably want Dredge to win. I'm gonna play it for sure. In fact, I need to go buy it because it's on sale right now because for Black Friday they're having indie sale. And Dredge is a really cool fishing game where you get attacked by like monsters. So it's a horror game.
I watched the IGN review last night. I don't know. Like, I think I would like this, but I think this feels like a Game Pass game to me. Like, this feels like a risk. A $20 thing feels like a risk to me. I want to buy it. There seems like cool stuff in there, but at the same time, I'm not sure if the main game mechanic would really hook me in like enough.
Yeah.
Not intentional, I swear, but now it is. So I don't know. I wish this was on Game Pass. I feel like this is a perfect Game Pass game. It's not even that long either, so that also makes me feel good for that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I haven't played any of these games. I just know I would hate Viewfinder because I am incredibly visually challenged, and I've seen some of that gameplay, and I know for a fact I would get stuck on those puzzles for hours and hate my life. I don't know what the hell Pizza Tower is, but I've heard of it, and of course I know what Vemba is from Seb talking about it and gameplay I've seen.
I really liked it, but it was a 50-minute like platinum. It was very
right,
but it wasn't anything mind blowing. It was very
right. For sure.
It was like It was a nice little charming thing, and then you move on. It's like it wasn't
for sure.
It wasn't impactful, I think.
Yeah.
To me.
I want, just because it's so fucking weird, and I know enough about it. I want Dredge to win, and I think it will.
Yeah,
but
I agree
other than that, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't played any of these. Dredge is literally the only one I am even remotely familiar with.
Yeah.
So Dredge, I guess.
All right, let's move on then to best independent game, which was similar games: Cocoon, Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. Now I know people were like confused why Dave the Diver was considered indie. I know people were like questioning that, but I don't.
Oh right, that's
people were upset.
One
that was one of the controversies.
Yeah.
That was the one that's like it's made by like it's made by a small studio, but like they've got funding or like their parent company is like
it's huge in the
Nexon
or
something. Yeah, I mean like I don't know how deeply integrated the devs are with the parent company, if it's even a parent company and not just someone they got funding from. I'd say I'm half confused by these two categories, just because I feel like if they just purely had them as best debut game and best indie game, I feel like that would have been a much clearer, more obvious distinction between them, especially since like 3 of the 5 choices are the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Because I don't really have much to add on this, unfortunately.
I think Sea of Stars is gonna win one of these categories, and I'd imagine it's gonna win this one. I think overall,
I would love it.
It's the best one.
I feel like the hype might propel Dave the Diver to. Yeah. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. Propel Dave the Diver to win this.
Yeah.
But I want Sea of Stars, and I think it could.
Yeah.
This is the first time, or maybe not the first time, but this is like one of the few times where I'm like, I think the one I want could win. I'm not saying it's going to, but I think Sea of Stars could win this one.
Yeah.
Fuck Viewfinder.
I hope it wins something. CSR deserves something. Alright, so let's move on to Best Community Support, which was also very controversial, which we'll talk about. Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. Now, it was controversial because Destiny 2 getting nominated for this right when they had giant layoffs and had that shitstorm, and Bungie has had a nightmarish few weeks.
I literally, one of my friends who I talk to almost every day was like, "Oh, hey, I gotta go see my boss." Came back, was like, I was fired, and like I was like,
"Oh, what?"
I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I'm not gonna name names or anything like that," but she. Just, I mean, she got a decent severance package and stuff, but it's just fucking horrible.
So
and
did
she?
Was she working at like Bungie, or was it just like pure coincidence?
No, she literally works for Bungie. She works on Destiny,
shit.
I think. Yeah. No, I've been friends with her for like a couple of years. But so she
wow.
And I at one point I was joking. I was like you should go tell your boss something, this or that. She's like, I literally can't. My boss got fired. So I can't even like.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I just want to say fuck the layoffs. The layoffs have been awful this year. But anyway, yeah. This is dumb.
Jesus.
This is such a bad look for the Game Awards to just reward Bungie.
I think. Look, it
just you think it was set in stone already?
Playing.
It might have been for sure.
To play devil's advocate here. Layoffs happened quite late into the game, but also I feel like, as terrible as that is, like, you know, this is more based around like the actual quality of the game, like the support that went into the game itself. It's not so much about company politics and stuff, which I mean you can argue is like how much it actually has to, you know, how much weight it has over it being nominated for the category in the first place. But I will say, the way Destiny 2 has gone in this past year, I don't think it should win anyways.
Yes,
it should not win anyways. Like I went like last year when after The Witch Queen came out, I was obsessed with Destiny. Like I played it on and off again for a few months, but I was obsessed with Destiny. Like I'd come in at least every season, I'd grind like for 10-20 hours worth of like all the new content they had. And I do think that generally they have one of the best live service models in the industry right now, with how every season they don't just come out like with new maps and new weapons and new, like, I don't know, battle pass skins or anything. Like, no, they actually have new story content, new mini campaigns basically. And like, you know, if you really wanted to, you could just access all of it for like $10-15. But then this year with Lightfall, which was a pretty, I don't want to say abysmal, but it was like an incredibly underwhelming expansion. Plus, you know, the live service content just hasn't hooked me. Like I bought the annual pass for this game, which I think cost me like 150, maybe even 175. No, not 100, like $150, let's say. I don't think I've played Destiny 2 since maybe a month after Lightfall launch, which is like basically March, which means I've basically, for like the extra $50-60 I paid to get the annual pass of content, I have not gotten my monies out of it just because I have not been bothered to go back and play. And from everything I've heard, they've made a lot of bad changes to how the monetization works. They've made a lot of puzzling changes to how certain areas of progression work. People just don't seem to be as excited as like the new story content and reveals that have been coming out as of late. Like it's just not been a great year for Destiny 2. Like at least from my perspective, like, you know, there's might be more hardcore players that say otherwise, but yeah, like regardless of like the real world terrible shit that's happened, I don't think it has a chance in winning anyways. I think it's just kind of on here because it's a big game. It's probably one of the few big, you know, ongoing live service games that can be nominated for it in the first place. So yeah, like it's one of those just, you know, designated throwaway nominations on the category, on the vote.
I think it's between Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk is going to win this one because of the DLC that came out, and it's been very positive for this game
100%.
For a whole year now. It's like everybody's praising it, and the critics really like it, and the fans seem very happy, and Idris Elba is like, people love his character, and it seems like there's a lot of positive vibe. Although I wouldn't shock me if Baldur's Gate wins this too. It's like their community is really good. So, yeah.
I mean, like, because honestly, I was gonna say, like, and I keep needing to be reminded that this isn't best ongoing game. This is best community support. A lot of the big, like, aside from Phantom Liberty, obviously, a lot of the big Cyberpunk updates that made it, you know, as playable as it was, happened, if not, you know, last year, maybe even the year before that.
Sure.
You know, like it's.
Yeah.
Jeez, I just realized it's been almost like it's been almost 3 years since the game came out in the first place. Fuck me.
Look, I don't.
You know what? I'll say Baldur's Gate's gonna win this. I'll say Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. I think. Sorry, I agree. I think Baldur's Gate 3 has just the better overall chance of winning. But I would like to see Cyberpunk win.
I don't really have much of a dog in this fight. Still a fucked up phrase. I want Baldur's Gate 3 to win, and I think it will. I think you're right. The only thing that could overtake it is maybe Cyberpunk. Maybe Final Fantasy, because I know their community's like...
Yeah, it's starting to fade out now.
But yeah, it is starting to fade out. Last year, it was a lot, bigger and stuff.
Yeah, because WoW was having like their huge decline. Like it was already declining, but WoW was like mass exodus, and Final Fantasy 14 was the alternative. But now everybody's kind of they're starting to move on. From my understanding, I don't know. All right, let's go to best ongoing now, which is similar. Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. I think people were really confused why Cyberpunk was on this list. That's one of the controversies I saw on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, if anything, I feel like this is the category that Cyberpunk has the stronger and probably more deserving chance of winning over community support. Yeah. I mean, like again, it's same with like best indie debut and best independent game. They're two very similar categories that could technically just be either mixed into one or separate if they wanted to. But I feel like Apex, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin, they've basically all been on this list in previous years. If not all were on the list last year as well. Yeah. But like Cyberpunk's the more notable example, like it's got the better underdog story where it's like, came back from a terrible launch. Basically everyone on the internet has now agreed that like Cyberpunk's, probably, if not the best RPG of this year, like one of the best RPGs in years. And I feel like, CD Projekt Red do deserve a big pat on the back for everything they have done for sticking with this game. Not that, we should have gotten the game the way that we did in the first place, but regardless, I feel like, they put in, they went above and beyond in supporting the game over time, and I feel like that's, I can't think of any other choice for the category than this.
I think it's similar to the other category, the indie category, where it's like if Cyberpunk didn't win the other one, it's gonna win this one.
Yeah,
and 100%. So I think Baldur's Gate is gonna win best community support, and I think Cyberpunk's gonna win best ongoing, just because the other four are already popular, and I don't know, what do you even pick out of those?
They've kind of gotten complacent over the past years.
It's very
I want to say, it's like. They're just they're still being supported ongoingly, but they haven't exactly done anything new or notable in the space. It's just like, they're still updating them for sure.
Right. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah.
I'm ready to move on.
I do not care about this category. No offense intended to the devs or anybody involved with this, but this is not the category for me, y'all.
All right, so we're gonna jump.
The Genshin Impact.
No. So we're gonna jump right into best performance now. It's between Ben Starr in Final Fantasy 16, Cameron Monaghan in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba in Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Melanie Liburd, I think that's how you say her name, Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbin in Baldur's Gate 3 for Asterion, and Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man, obviously.
I swear to God,
it's a really
you guys go. Yeah, you guys go first because I'm going to be very one-sided on this, but you guys go.
For me, it's I would strongly pick Ben Starr, and that's who I expect to win as well. I think Ben Starr has that huge following on Twitter. Like everybody just loves him. He's become like this. He always does videos and people eat it up. He does like impressions and stuff. Like he said, "It's a me, Mario," like in the voice. and everybody ate it up.
Did some of that too.
Okay, that's
like
cool.
Memes.
Yeah, so I think Ben Starr is gonna win this, and I would pick him to win it. But I think Yuri and Neil have a legitimate shot at this as well. Though I don't think Neil has. I don't think he's gonna win. I think it's. I really at the end of the day, I think it's between Yuri and Ben Starr. And I think Ben's gonna win.
I in my one playthrough, I didn't have Asterion in my party. I've seen enough clips to know that Neil is very talented, but I don't know if the Asterion girlies are going to be pulling together enough to get him the win here. I agree with Seb. I think it really is between Yuri and Ben Starr. Look, this is recency bias. This is Spider-Man bias. This is just bias in general. I would give it to Yuri, but I do remember Ben Starr having an excellent performance, and I would not be mad if he won this. And he does. All these people deserved it. I mean, flipping Melanie from Alan Wake 2 absolutely knocked it out of the park. Cameron did great too. I don't like Cyberpunk, so I won't talk about that one. But like everything else, like all these people did incredible, and I wouldn't be mad if just about anybody won.
To be honest, I'm surprised. Well, I am and I'm not.
Oh, so sorry. Just to clarify.
No.
Yuri is the one I want to win, and I think he could. I think he could.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Melody was nominated for Alan Wake 2 and not Matthew Peretta / Ilka. I forget his last name. Who played Thomas Zane and did the mocap and everything. But I think Matthew Peretta especially had the far better performance in Alan Wake 2, but I can also understand why they didn't put him on, since it's really you had Matthew Peretta who provided the voice of Alan Wake, and then you had Ilka, no last name, as the person doing as the face and the body of Alan Wake. So I can kind of understand why the board would have been, kind of a bit, maybe not hesitant, but a bit perplexed on how they'd actually categorize that.
Yeah.
Without causing yet another Twitter drama. Look, in terms of I will also say I really I love Idris Elba. He's great. I just hope he doesn't win, because he's a big name Hollywood actor. I want some of our own guys to get the win, and I fully I don't expect Jeff to nominate to actually give Idris Elba the win. I don't Jeff is usually pretty good with this stuff, so I don't think he'll win. Similar for Cameron Monaghan, but he actually did put in a genuinely fantastic performance in Jedi Survivor. I haven't played 16 yet, and I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 obviously, so I can't comment on their performances. But Yuri's got to get the win, man. Even kind of since watching the Game Awards for the past 4 or 5 years, I've kind of noticed trends with how they generally tend to pick the winners in accordance with what the internet is saying about the nominees and how they rally behind them. And Yuri, I feel more than anything this year, not even just on social media, but in reviews and everything as well, consistently for most, if not all of the reviews I watched for Spider-Man 2, every single one of them highlighted Yuri Lowenthal's performance, which rarely ever happens in video games. They might say a quick throwaway line of, oh, this person was really good in the role, but quite a few of those reviews actually went on to talk about how great his performance was for Spider-Man 2. And god damn it, man, I just want Yuri Lowenthal to get a win one of these days, because he went above and beyond for Spider-Man 2, so he needs it.
Yeah.
I will be taking no other answers other than Yuri Lowenthal. Otherwise, god damn it, I'm going down to LA and I'm kidnapping Jeff himself, and I'm bringing Hideo with me.
And I'm mentioning Bill Clinton and his rabbi in my speech.
All right, let's move on to best audio design, which is between Alan Wake 2, Dead Space, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4. Now, I think all these games have great audio, but overall, I lean on Dead Space. I think the atmosphere had the best atmosphere. Although Alan Wake, I think Alan Wake is also
Alan
very
Wake
close.
has incredible audio. Yeah. I mean, super biased. I'm literally in the middle of Dead Space right now. I actually took a little break to play Super Mario RPG because, little fun fact for you. But if you go from a supremely dark show like Barry on HBO to playing Dead Space every night, eventually your brain might be like, "Wow, life is kind of bad, isn't it?" So don't do that, kids. But yes, both incredible. Dead Space and Alan Wake, incredible audio design. I would give the nod just from the couple of hours, maybe 4 hours I played at the remake. I love the audio design, and I could definitely see it winning.
Yeah, Mitch, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, funnily enough, I just started another replay of not Alan Wake, Dead Space last night, and like even with like my headphones on, my headphones on listening to a podcast, I'd still like occasionally have to pause the podcast and just like listen and be creeped out by just like the audio design of that game, and like hearing like necromorphs like off in the distance and trying to figure out where they are. Like I got like little mini jump scared so many times last night, and I don't feel like that ever really happened for Alan Wake 2 or Resident Evil 4. And not to say like those games like weren't scary in their own right. And, like Alan Wake 2 has some fantastic audio in the sections where you play as Alan Wake especially, but I don't think it's utilized nearly as well in there as it is in Dead Space.
I think I will have those fucking shadow creatures that say Alan Wake for like in my fucking nightmares for like as long as I live. So yeah, I mean Alan Wake definitely deserves to be in this category. But I gotta give it to Dead Space, just like Mitch said.
Yeah, I agree. I would pick Dead Space. So let's go to best score in music, which this is one of my controversies. I was not happy with the choices. I mean, I was happy with most of the choices. There was one of them I didn't understand, or I don't agree with. First one is Alan Wake 2, then Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Hi-Fi Rush, and then Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
All right, so right off the bat, I don't know how you don't pick Octopath Traveler 2 to be in this category. It has absolutely beautiful soundtrack, like just absolutely gorgeous.
Octopath's greatest track.
It got snubbed so much these awards, and I'm not even kidding. That soundtrack is incredible. But overall, Final Fantasy 16 has the best soundtrack. I think 16's soundtrack is just insanely good. It's by far the best soundtrack.
I love the Alan Wake 2 soundtrack. I also love the Hi-Fi Rush soundtrack. I love the Final Fantasy and Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate has one of the best boss fight themes I've ever heard in a game. I won't go into more details than that, but if you know, you know. The problem with Baldur's Gate as a soundtrack, a lot of the songs are just remixed versions of the main theme from the menu. At least in my experience, and they're all good. Don't get me wrong, but when I think Baldur's Gate, the first thing I think is not its score or its sound, even though there are some incredible bangers on there. I think for me, it's between Alan Wake, Final Fantasy, and Hi-Fi Rush. If I had to pick one for what I want Hi-Fi Rush because it is such a musically inclined game, and I had such fun time listening to the soundtrack. But the one that I think will win, probably Final Fantasy. But like I said, Final Fantasy feels like a lifetime ago, so I don't even really remember its soundtrack a lot. I remember it being good, obviously, but like I don't really remember it.
I still listen to like half the songs from that soundtrack. That soundtrack just I think it blows everything out the water. Like I think that soundtrack is by far the best. Like every song in that game had memorable. Like almost every boss had a very memorable boss fight theme. Like it was like that memorable. That's just my opinion though. But I liked all the soundtracks. I think Tears of the Kingdom has a nice soundtrack, but I think a lot of it was very similar to Breath of the Wild. I think it was. I feel like you kind of you don't think about the soundtrack that much. Like for the most part, it's very nice. It's a really good soundtrack, but it's nothing like just like I really remember. Besides the main theme.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And credit where credit's due. Sorry, Seb. I kept thinking you were done, and then you weren't. Credit where credit's due. That's what it should be in Tears of the Kingdom, right? It should be like a cool, kind of semi-relaxing, maybe energetic, action-packed kind of vibe from it. You shouldn't feel completely overpowered by the soundtrack while you're fucking building a goddamn AK-47 out of blocks or something. Whatever the hell you do in that game.
So, Mitch, what do you think? I know you didn't play a lot of these games, so.
Yeah, I mean, look, the early game I have played is, again, Alan Wake 2, and I feel like not just the score, but the soundtrack especially, like, for all those chapter songs was fantastic. And that musical number, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have heard pretty great. I do remember hearing pretty great things about Final Fantasy 16 soundtrack though, like especially like the boss tracks, I believe. Basically, what I want to win is Alan Wake 2. I genuinely do think it has a decently good chance, but I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't bet any money on it. I'd say, if anything, the most likely to win is going to be Final Fantasy 16.
Gotcha. All right. We only got a few more categories left. The next category is Best Art Direction, which is between Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I am this one of those categories where I'm on the fence. I can't I think the art direction in all these games is incredible. Like it's. I
feel
really
like
hard.
art direction feels. I don't want to say vague, but like at the same time, when I hear art direction, I think of like cell shading or like sort of like 2D cartoony platformers and stuff.
It says technical achievement in design and animation. So.
Yeah. So like I guess on the animation side of things, Alan Wake 2 and even Lies of P do make sense. I guess I'll just quickly go to start off with, again, Alan Wake 2, only one I played. What I think will win, though, is probably... Well, what I want to win, because it's probably, like, the first Xbox exclusive that I've genuinely been interested in for years, is Hi-Fi Rush. I'd love it if that game won. Everything I've seen from that seems incredibly colourful and full of life and just so entertaining to look at, and I'm assuming to play. What I think will win is most likely Tears of the Kingdom, though. And not just because it's cel shading, but just because I feel like, I mean, obviously, just the actual look of the game itself, but also everything I've seen of the open world and how they've been able to craft everything together. Like, at this stage, I just feel like Nintendo are probably going to be in need of a win, and this is, like, a good category to throw them into for that.
Yeah, Lies of P has a gorgeous, like steampunk 19th century France, very Bloodborne-ish.
I was going to say,
amazing atmosphere, yeah.
Seemed very Bloodborne-ish.
It is. It's incredible.
Which isn't to like discredit or anything, because like Bloodborne's Bloodborne.
I beat almost all these games. I'm almost done with Mario, so I pretty much beat all these games. And the art direction was really good for Lies of P. It had a really great atmosphere the entire game. Hi-Fi Rush had a really awesome, colorful, futuristic look. I love the cel shadedness, and it was really cool. Alan Wake 2 obviously was really cool. Like, it had a great atmosphere. I had a lot of great neon lights in the city. It had a lot of great reflections. Like, the ray tracing was really good. Character models were really good. It's obviously the most hyper realistic of all the games in this category. I mean, Lies of P does have like real life people and everything, but it's like more Japanese-ish because it's a Japanese game. It's more like a Souls game, obviously, because it is one. But I think this category is a Nintendo category. I think this is between Mario and Zelda, and I think it's going to be Mario, because Mario's the animation and the colors and all this crazy stuff that goes on the screen is so creative. So it just pops. It just especially when you play on a Switch OLED, it just pops out. It's just like it's the whole game. It's like, wow, like this looks incredible, and I ultimately think it's gonna be Mario, but it's also between. I also think Zelda has a legitimate shot as well, so I think it's between Mario and Zelda, and I would pick Mario, but I think I wouldn't be upset with any of these choices though. Dory, what do you think?
Yeah,
definitely.
For me, this is the easiest one we've looked at so far. Think and Want is Hi-Fi Rush. Beautifully animated game. Love the cell shading. Brought me back to the PS2 days. Love Alan Wake. Love the way it looks. And I think it's a beautiful, gorgeous game. But I just think Hi-Fi Rush is such a vibrant, lovely game to play, to be in, to imagine, to honestly want to see more from that world, partly because of the art design. I think it should win, and I think it will win.
Good choice. So, best narrative. Now, best narrative is between Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's Baldur's Gate 3. Next category. I mean, Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 has an incredible. I mean, I know some people don't like it, but I really like the whole Mind Palace thing, and I love putting the mystery together. I really enjoyed the whole. I think the story was the best part of Alan Wake 2, and I absolutely love Alan Wake 2. I think Cyberpunk. I didn't play this DLC, so I can't say much, but I don't think it has any shot of winning this one.
No.
Look, Cyberpunk, you know, like it's damn good, but like it's not, it's not, you know, no, like it's not groundbreaking in any real way, you know. Like most of the stuff it does that is groundbreaking is more related to gameplay or voice acting or you know stuff like that.
Final Fantasy 16 story is really good. I was totally into it. The ending made me cry. It had an awesome. It had like a Game of Thrones feel to it the entire time. And then it got my only criticism of Final Fantasy 16 story is that it started getting into like the typical Final Fantasy where there's a end boss Omega guy that's like pulling the strings, and it got to like, you know, it got very generic, and it kind of fell off for me a little bit with that. But for the most part, it was a very consistent, good narrative. Although I think what hurts it too is the pacing. I think you would get really into the story, a big moment will happen. It's like it would blow your mind. It's eye popping cinematic, and then it's like another 7 hours of like side content where you're like fetching items and killing monsters and going back and forth, and the pacing just drags it out. So I don't think Final Fantasy is gonna win this one. And Spider-Man, we've all talked about it last episode. It's really good narrative. It's one of the best Spider-Man stories. Really, really great. But I think overall, Baldur's Gate 3's narrative is just crushes everybody else. I think Baldur's Gate, it's by far the best one.
So. Baldur's real quick here, Mitch. Baldur's Gate, Want, it wins this. I say that as a huge Spider-Man fan. I say that as someone who adored the Alan Wake 2 narrative.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who also loved the Final Fantasy narrative, even if it did have some problems here and there, minor ones mostly. But yeah, Baldur's Gate for the win and should win.
Yeah. Mitch, you anything more to add?
I do have something more to add, and that I think because I've only played 3 out of the 5 games, I think Alan Wake 2 should win, or at least I want it to win. Like it's generally one of the best narratives that I've played in years, and like I think one thing that at least gives it a chance, if not for best narrative, for another category later on, is the way in which they intertwine multimedia aspects into the way that the story is told. You know, like you basically got everything. Like, you know, you've got obviously gameplay, you've got watching live action cutscenes, you've got through reading the manuscripts, you've got like even the musical choices and like the chapter songs. They actually relate to the story. They like even like foreshadow and like, you know, enlighten certain things. Like every single aspect of this game, even if you don't immediately realize it, contributes to the story and the themes in ways that, if not subtle, like that actually make sense in context of the world itself. And it's like not to say that, like, you know, the actual story of Alan Wake 2 is like the best thing ever, because like it has its issues. It's not perfect. but I still think it's better than the sum of its parts is what I'd have to say. Now I don't doubt that Baldur's Gate 3 is probably most likely to get the win, just because, it's a tabletop, well, not a tabletop, but like a D&D style RPG game. It's basically custom built around narrative and storytelling in the first place. But I feel like Alan Wake 2, at the very least, I'm just glad it's being nominated and recognized. I feel like Sam Lake and everyone else at Remedy have not gotten nearly enough credit over the years for just the loops and everything they go through for telling stories and games. And I feel like Alan Wake 2 is a perfect time to start recognizing them. Alright, mic drop. I rescind my piece, whatever the fuck they say in the Senate. I'm good.
Alright, so...
Boom.
Fair enough.
Two more categories left. Next one is Best Game Direction, which is between Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. Alright, so this one I'm on the fence about, but I think it's between Alan Wake 2 and Tears of the Kingdom for me. I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to win, and I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to win because it has the physics in that game are just incredible. The things you can do, the things you can do, the things you can create, the things you can put together is something that's never been done. But I've never seen that in a video game before. It added layers to Breath of the Wild, the way you can just warp through a ceiling just by hitting a button, and you can do so many different things. You can tackle something in any shape or form. You don't have, everybody has a different way of handling something. I think Alan Wake 2 would be my second pick because Alan Wake 2's game direction is so unique with the Mind Palace and how you change the scenery by changing the scene, Alan Wake's pages. You can change you change the whole. It's the settings around you, and it was really awesome. The game direction for that, it had such a uniqueness with the the Alan sections where what happens, the concert. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
That stands out to me. I think Mario is still a platformer, even though it has incredible it really changes Mario's it's a next step, next evolution for Mario, 2D Mario. I don't think the game direction stands on the same level as Tears of the Kingdom or Alan Wake. I think Spider-Man was absolutely incredible with the traveling, and the combat was a lot of fun. I mean, it's one of the best open world ever. I think that you can spend so much. You can spend 10 hours just swinging around doing nothing and gliding around. It was that good. And Baldur's Gate game's direction was mainly being a strategy game and rolling dice and making decisions, and then it was really awesome the different ways you can tackle a fight. You can strategize, you can put people on the ceiling and shoot from above. You can kick people off the cliff. There was so many unique ways. I remember talking about Baldur's Gate with you guys, and I said I beat the Dark Elf lady by shooting the bridge when she crossed it. I tricked her, and when she was walking away, I shot the bridge and killed her, and I avoided a whole fight. So the game direction of the game was really good, but ultimately I think Tears of the Kingdom deserves to win this one. So what do you guys think?
Actually, yeah, Dory, you go first. I'll finish this one off.
Never accuse me of not being a consistent hater.
Yeah.
Hope Tears of the Kingdom doesn't win. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. But no.
Where's the mute button? Where's the mute button?
Alan Wake 2 should win this, in my opinion. I loved the direction of that game. I thought it was stunning. It was inspired. It was God, so many fucking adjectives I could throw at it, but basically it was damn good. And really well done. I mean, look at the fucking cover. I mean, that's so good. Just the cover, just the flipping cover right there. Now, I do think Baldur's Gate 3 has outstanding creative vision and innovation, but maybe not in the way that they want. Like it is like really good creative vision and really good innovation in terms of like innovating on the D&D format and combat system and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's quite the kind of creative vision that they're looking for. Last thing I'll say, since it's the last game I played out of the 5, Spider-Man, just for as much as I love it, it's not much of a. I find it hard to say that it's a creative game in terms of its.
It's still Spider-Man. At the end of the day, it's still Spider-Man. You can't really change.
Yes,
you only do it so much.
It's a terrific game. It's my second game of the year, but I love it. But I can't in good conscience say no. This is a creatively like the vision is here. Like no, the vision is in Marvel, the Avengers. Come on, WandaVision, everybody. But anyway, sorry, that was terrible. But seriously, yeah, I can't say that with good conscience. My pick is Alan Wake 2. I'm a hater forever and ever. So there you go.
Yeah. To piggyback off of what Dory was saying, like even in the description it mentions like outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Again, love Spider-Man 2, obsessed with it. It's not exactly innovative per se. Like even its biggest fans would say like, yeah, it's more of the same. Like it's better in a lot of ways. It's hugely improved, but it's more of the same. Like it's not exactly innovating in the same way that the first game did back in the day. Alan Wake 2, on the other hand, basically everything that you like Seb, you and Dory said. It's and basically everything what I said in the narrative department as well. It's like it's just incredible, and I'd basically any categories that Alan Wake 2 is in, I'll vote for it. It's not even my game of the year, at least at this stage. I've got Spider-Man 2 above it, but I just want Alan Wake 2 to win. Damn it! I need Sam Lake on that stage. That's all I need.
I'm sure he will be on the stage for one of these categories. But maybe not, because we all said no. I haven't picked Alan Wake yet, I think. I think about it. But
you're letting us down, Seb. You're letting us down.
And I'm probably higher on that game than all of you, but it's just that the two games above it are just so much. I think the two games above it are just on a category of their own. So. Yeah. We ready to move on to the final category? Yeah. All right. So, the last category is Game of the Year. This is the biggest one. Obviously, it's also has the most choices. 6. It is between Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now,
cool. It's Baldur's Gate 3. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna go watch wrestling. Bye, everybody.
Well, if we're gonna speed run the category, Baldur's Gate 3 has. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is not just the best game of the year. I think it's one of the greatest games ever made. It's a 97 on Metacritic. It is. It revolutionized RPG. It probably people are gonna copy this game. I think it's gonna revolutionize Western RPGs.
What Disco Elysium did for CRPGs. Baldur's Gate 3 has not only doubled down but tripled down on, and has made it so apparent that people want and love D&D and want a game that accurately represents D&D, and not completely accurately. It's not a 1-to-1 for all the D&D nerds out there, but it's such a good translation, I will say, of D&D and what you can do in D&D to a video game.
Yes,
which is incredible.
The role playing, the storytelling, is probably the best I've ever played in a game. The storytelling is one of the best I've ever played in a game, and I play a lot of games, of course. The graphics were just amazing. Outside Act 3 had some performance issues, but overall, even the performance issues never affected my enjoyment of the game. Like even when Act 3 was kind of a mess, and I think they patched it now. It never affected my enjoyment of the game. Or I can't say that about other games. That game is the definition of a masterpiece. If you're a gamer, obviously if you don't like CRPGs and you don't like reading and you don't like those kind of like slow burn, get involved in the world kind of games, then obviously I can't recommend it. But if you're a gamer, you have to play this game at some point in your life. Like, it is that good of a game. It's like one of those.
At least give it a shot.
Give it a shot. That's what I'm saying. Just try it.
I can honestly say, like, the first hour or so gives you a solid idea of what the game's really about. And if you don't like it after that part, hey, you tried. Yeah. But I think this is a game that is so worth trying.
Yes.
It's a game I took a chance on. I had no hype for, no expectations.
I was hyping it to you guys. I was trying to tell you guys this game's gonna be so good. And
never played Baldur's Gate 1, never played Baldur's Gate 2, but a huge D&D fan, and obviously that's where they hooked me in.
Yep.
Baldur's Gate 3. Anyway, Mitch, go ahead.
So what if I said Alan Wake 2 has a genuine chance of winning?
I would say it actually does. I think
I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even saying this in like a contrarian type of way, like James does. Sorry, but
I think it's a three-way race. Actually, I think it's between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate. I think that's the two best games of the year. And I think Alan Wake has like a 10% chance. I actually think it has an outside shot of winning. I don't think Resident Evil, Spider-Man, and Mario have any shot of winning.
I feel
zero shot.
I feel so bad for Resident Evil 4 because we have not picked it once this whole fucking thing. I want to shout out Resident Evil 4 remake. It's so good.
Let's actually use that to transition to the big controversy, because a lot of people were going crazy about this because they said it's not fair that a remake got picked over brand new IPs.
Look,
and this is where people said Jeff Keighley's biased for Sony, and it wasn't fair that Starfield didn't get picked. It was a big. I read all of the whining. It was it's actually really entertaining, but I do think people have a legitimate argument that a remake shouldn't get picked because it has built on the foundation. I disagree with that. I said it on Twitter that I disagree. I said that I think Resident Evil 4 is objectively better than most games that came out this year. I don't think it's better than Alan Wake, Baldur's Gate, or Tears of the Kingdom. But I don't know. That's my. I think Spider-Man's better too. I think it's like the top 5 game of the year. So I think if it's top 5 game of the year, I think it definitely deserves to get nominated. Just objectively. Yeah. Good.
The thing is, one, cry more Twitter. That joke sounded better in my head. I feel like I've never agreed with the sentiment, at least to an extent, that like remakes, at least in the style of like RE2 to 4 remake, and less so The Last of Us Part 1, because that's just a remaster make, you know, like made up from the ground up or not. It's just a remaster.
Yeah.
I've never agreed with the sentiment that because a game is a remake, it can't be nominated for stuff like Game of the Year. Like, it's a brand new product. Like sure, like it's made off the bones of something else, but it's like. Like, you know, it's like if you're saying that it's the exact same game as the original, you're lying to yourself, and not only that, but you're also discrediting the effort of all of the, I'm assuming, hundreds of employees at Capcom that worked on this. And like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the only game that like has gotten, like, at least from IGN and other places, like a 10 out of 10 this year. Like, I can't think it, like, even Baldur's Gate, I don't think got a 10 out of 10.
No, Baldur's Gate did get a 10
unless I'm mistaken.
By a lot
it did get a 10? Okay.
Yeah.
You got a lot of 10s.
Okay. Like, yeah.
You don't get 97 if you, without 10 out of 10 somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, like, I think it's just insane. And, like, it screams... I mean, like, some people were fully mask off when they said it's like, oh, they like, you know, it's like, I just wanted Starfield on there. It's like, I feel like people just, like, in this kind of instance, they go towards the remake because, like, it's the easy target for, like, them to cross off a list, for them to sub in the game that they actually wanted in there. Like, I can guarantee you, if there wasn't a game that people also loved this year, like a Starfield or a fucking cooking pizzeria simulator 13 or something, you know, like I don't think this controversy would be happening.
Yeah, I want to real quick say that even if I agree that remake shouldn't be eligible, the only alternative is to make another category, and I don't know if we've gotten, like, noticed by the hour and a half that it's taken to talk about this, but, like, there are a lot of goddamn categories anyway, so I'm worried about scope creep. But even if scope creep's not a concern, even if like for some reason we can't nominate remakes now, if you try to make remakes its own category, that is a bad idea. Because if there is a year where there's no remakes, then that's a dead category. Or if there's a year where there's like a few good remakes but all the rest are trash, it's like a silly category because it's like, well, we obviously know which one's gonna win. So
that's why I'm surprised they made That's why I'm surprised they made best adaptation to a category, because like there's, it's like you're not necessarily guaranteed that every year you're gonna get enough, actual things to nominate for that award. Like, I mean, sure, they could probably just shelve it year to year, but anyways, like on Alan Wake 2, all I say is, again, I just want Sam Lake to be on that stage right at the end with everyone else, and I want Sam Lake to come back again next year to present the next Game of the Year award, like they are doing nowadays. I just think that's a brilliant tradition, and Sam Lake is. I saw someone on TikTok call Sam Lake the Finnish Hideo Kojima, and I feel like that's a pretty accurate title, if anything.
I can see that.
I don't have anything else to add though.
So I think Jeff overall nailed these choices, because this is the second year in a row that this is my top 6 games of the year, and he absolutely nailed it. These games are all, I think, are the best of the year, even though there's a lot of great games. Ironically, as legendary this year was, I think it's pretty much a 2-game race between Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3. You guys are not Nintendo people. You don't really care about these games, but Tears of the Kingdom was so incredible. I mean, the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 to me is Game of the Year says how good that game is, because Tears of the Kingdom was my lock to win Game of the Year for most of the year. But because Tears of the Kingdom, just the physics, the adventure, the innovation is mind-blowingly good, and it has some pacing issues at some parts, and it started to drag at some parts, but for the most part, that game you can't put down. Even though I don't think Spider-Man has any shot, that game was so much fun. It's probably the funnest game on this list, like in terms of fun, just like pure action and fun. Great cinematics, great animation, great story, great soundtrack, great performances, great everything. It's just, it had some performance issues here and there. I had some bugs and things in that, but for the most part, really good game. One of the top 5 game of the year for me. Resident Evil 4 remake was, I mean, obviously the original is always going to be more special to me. It's my favorite game ever. I beat it 25 times. Resident Evil 4 had a great animation, great combat. It was so much fun parrying and doing all the things you could do. The set pieces were really cool. Had a great atmosphere, great visuals. Good storytelling. It improved a lot of things. It made Ashley a better character. Only thing I didn't like about it, the main thing I didn't like about it was Ada's voice. Either her performance was very wooden, which we talked about in depth. I beat it 3 times, but only thing I would say is I don't think it's as iconic as the other games on this list. It's a really great game, but I think there's better games on this list that are gonna stick with me more longer. And I think that's where Alan Wake 2 shines more than Resident Evil 4. Is Alan Wake has incredible narrative, as we talked about, atmosphere, memorable moments like they were like, wow, this is amazing game direction. I was like, wow. The mystery was so enthralling, and we talked about Alan Wake a lot already, so I don't want to get too in depth, but you get what I'm saying. I think it's more iconic than Resident Evil 4. I think it stands out more than Resident Evil 4. So that's why I think it's overall better survival horror game, because I'm a giant survival horror fan. And I think to me it's the greatest survival horror game of the year. But that's saying a lot, because I have 3 games in my top 10 that are survival horror, and that's really that good of a year. So, and then I think I don't think Mario has any chance, but as I said, Mario is revolutionary in the 2D Mario space, and I think it deserves the 90, whatever it is, 92 on Metacritic. Or the animation, the colors, the uniqueness, the creativity, the love for Mario. It took Mario in a new direction, new monsters, new environments, new everything. So it was incredible. I think Jeff absolutely nailed this category. But at the end of the day, I think Baldur's Gate 3 it's the best game ever. And I think the fact that 3 of these games are probably my top 20 games of all time now in 2 years, like Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom, and Baldur's Gate 3 all like could be in my top 20 games of all time, and that they all came out within the same 2 years is insane. Because I've played, 20,000, 30,000 games in my life, so it's been an incredible year. But I think at the end of the day, I'll shut up now. Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna win. So yep. All right, so I don't think we have anything more to add, so let's wrap it up. So the Game Awards is on December 7th, I believe, right? Yep, December 7th. So I'm looking forward to talking about them. I'm looking forward to all the announcements. And that's pretty much it. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. Because the time we have the next episode up, it will be after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, y'all. I'm on a 1-week break, so I can get these games beat. I can get through my backlog, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm excited to play Super Mario RPG. And yeah, so thanks for joining me, guys. And you all have a good night. Peace. Bye.